Nothing has separated them to this point. And we see the players getting set for the second game. Gukesh is black. Wijk also is black, but unfortunately for Gukesh, he needs to win while Wijk can play more solid. So, Danya, when you're in a must-win game, you have so much experience playing Blitz. What kind of opening do you tend to choose?
Well, I don't think you want to do anything too crazy. That's the thing. You don't want to burn all of your bridges and go like G5. I think Gukesh should play what he's comfortable with. He plays a Nimzo. Of course, Anish Giri does not allow a Nimzo Indian. He plays knight f3. The other game is about to begin as well. And unfortunately, it looks like we are still stuck there. But at the very least, the Giri Gukesh game is working. And a knight tango by Gukesh, I balance Robert. Now, between not being too crazy, but also being an opening that's a little bit less theoretical. There's no forced draws in the knight tango variation.
And we see Anish Giri with the white pieces. As you said, no forced draws allowed. That's the point of Gukesh's opening. And he played e6 and g6. Typically, when you push a pawn that opens a diagonal for your bishop, you move that bishop along the path, but the bishop has fianchettoed, and now black decides to strike in the center. So, Danya, I like the opening choice from Gukesh's perspective. He gives himself chances to play a long game. I was just going to say, though, white clearly has the advantage because you control the center.
Yeah, he's gotten a fresh position, but look at the time situation. He doesn't know what to do. In all of these d4 openings, when you've got a knight on c6, that's just like bad by definition because the c7 pawn is like, wait a second, I'm the one who's supposed to be the star of the show. Queen to e7 is a nice move by Gukesh. I've seen this type of idea before. The rook slides over to d8. And at some point in the near future, you could just try to explode. Just take the kryptonite to the center with e6, e5. And Anish Giri, he's taking his time. I think he's trying to decide, do I want to release the tension with c takes d5? Remember that a draw wins the mini-match for Anish Giri, so he should play solidly here.
And we see that Anish breaks his bishop out. He pins the knight on f6. Now the d5 pawn is loose. So Gukesh, the problem for him is he's going to have to think. If he wants to drum up some play, here we go. He's creating imbalances. He takes on c4.
Okay.
Now we don't have a symmetrical pawn structure. And there you call it rook d8, aiming right at the white center.
Okay, now e5 is a possibility. Knight takes d4 and e5 in certain situations has to be considered. And Gukesh, he's done exactly what he needs to do out of the opening. Anish, look at how solidly he plays e3, not overreacting. He's going to give that bishop up for the knight, and I would move the queen out of the d-file just to avoid any potential shenanigans related to that pin that the rook on d8 is exerting. I still think white is slightly better here. The game is far from over. Black is better, but White's knight on e4 is actually quite well defended. And on the other position, who is attacking whom?
After that missed bishop takes d4 and going for the white king, it seems like the black king could be in some danger. But I'm trying to count material on the right-hand side. White is up a pawn, but black does seem to have the initiative. Here comes the white queen.
And look at Gukesh with the intermezzo, bishop d3. He found the right way to punish Anish Giri's move g4. Both boards are exploding. And I think Weiyi's attacking. Or is he?
And bishop to d3 by Gukesh. That's a huge move. If he took the rook at the end of the diagonal, the knight would have taken back, and then white would have two minor pieces for the rook. So look at the left-hand side. It's bishop on d3, looking good. On the right-hand side, the black king is open, the white king is open, and here comes the black queen in for the attack.
We might get a repetition, by the way. Bishop g3, back to f6. Noterbeck is down on the clock. He's down to 45 seconds. His position probably objectively better, and he goes for it. He pushes the pawn up to g3, trying to slow down the progress of black's f-pawn. And on the other board, Gukesh, look at his monsters there on c3 and on d3. He is very, very close to winning material outright there, but rook b3, tricky move by Anish Giri, hitting the bishop.
Oh, those bishops for black on the left-hand side of our screen, they look very powerful, and he slides one in the back because bishop c2 is a threat, hitting both rooks at the same time. And on the right-hand side of our screen, Wei has to find a move. Danya, white is up to king g2, rook h1, and deliver a nasty blow against the black king on h7.
And with 30 seconds, Wei is investing essentially the rest of his time trying to calculate, I think, the move f4. And Gukesh, apparently he has a winning move. Anish Giri has centralized his knight on e4. Bishop to c2 looks very, very tempting there. He's played it. Anish Giri, he has to take the rook. And he has to drop his other rook to d2. But there will be a check on d1. Gukesh is winning. Gukesh is winning material. He might win this game on demand.
There is a queen e5 check at the end of these variations. The rook on b2, loose pieces drop off. It looks like that piece might drop. And on the right-hand side of our screen, and look at the white queen just dropping back for Abdusattorov, and the black queen does the same. Whose attack is stronger on the right-hand side? And the left-hand side, Gukesh is in charge.
And Wei assembling his pieces over on the king side. He doubles his rooks on the g-file, and Noterbeck strikes at the center and pins the knight with bishop f4. Gukesh has won the exchange. He now has a technically winning position, Robert. But Anish Giri, he continues to fight, centralizing the knight on d5, and Gukesh still has some king weakness problems that he has to deal with. A trade of bishop for bishop on the right side. Who benefits? I think it's black.
Anish Giri loses. He loses on the board. He loses on the clock. That is tied 1-1. So let's dive in, just like the black queen on h3, to Weiyi's position against Abdusattorov, because Abdusattorov, he is down to about